Hello everybody, it is Curiosity here, and today we are going to go over the Necromon profile for BT22 with all of my lovely updates. I know that we've only gotten one big change in this deck so far, but I figured I'd still go through and you can kind of check out the differences from when I last did a deck profile to now when I've done this deck profile. So let's jump into our eggs here. We are still running the 3-2 split, 3 being the BT16 Cubimon, which is on deletion. By trashing one card in your hand, gain 1 memory. This pairs really great with the Pummel Whack that I'm running in the deck. Also gaining memory as fast as I can to keep turn is kind of how this deck runs. And I am running 2 of the Demi-Meramons because they do have a lot of value for recursion and getting back the Necromons very easily. So I am still running 2 of them. I do find 2 is pretty good for me, and I love running the Cubimon at 3, and it gives me some variety to work with. Of course, our level 3s have changed not that much, actually. I'm still running the same lineup, of course, for Searcher Ghostmons from BT20. What can I say? You need your Searcher, and the ability to grab a Ghost trait and a Liberator is fantastic because it gives you access to your Apparition. It gives you access to Vortex Resonance if you're running it, and as well as your Violets because they are in fact Liberators. So I will always probably be running that at 4. Of course, we are running the BT21 Ghostmon as well. This, of course, being the one this Digimon would Digivolve into a Ghost trait Digimon. You may reduce the cost by 1. This I find has been a really huge game changer for the Necromon deck. Giving you that ability to reduce your Evo climbing a lot faster is what we are looking for, especially nowadays. So having that engine in there really helps the deck out a lot. As for my last 2 rookie slots, I'm kind of toying with this. I still find that the Candlemon is great because it does have Ghost type and you are able to grab it in comparison to a Tsukaimon or a Gazimon with the inheritables of gaining 1 memory. I still think the Candlemon is a really great option, especially because if you have a level 4 that you have to swing with, you can again trash a card in your hand and delete your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So if you are playing against some wide bodies that have levels, it is very useful to manage. On to our level 4s. We are running 4 of the Bakemon, which allows you to play out a Violet Inboots if you have 1 or fewer Tamers. And again, you'll notice a lot of these inheritables are gain 1 memory. And we're trying to keep that as consistent as possible, especially with this deck, and how we want to try to essentially execute ourselves and then gain back all the memory, build another stack is essentially how this deck is running. So having this at 4 is definitely a great way to get those in there. I am running just 3 of the BT15 Bakemons. I really like the one Digivolving and on deletion effect that this provides, which is draw 1, trash 1. So you are getting a draw from Digivolve, and then again, you are getting an extra draw to basically build up your hand and be able to cycle as best as you can. And it does have an on deletion, so if you are in a pinch and you do, for some reason, need to delete this, maybe you're using the Metal Phantomon and you delete the Bakemon instead, you can trigger an extra draw if you are in a little bit of a bind there. So I do like running that at 3. And instead of the Soulmons, I am finally running 2 of the promo Bakemons. And of course, this is on play and when Digivolving. So you get the effect even if you on play it off of your Necromon or your Phantomons, you still get that ability, which is amazing, which is by trashing a card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon, and it gives the retaliation inheritable as well, making your Necromon very powerful in the inheritables if you need it to be. Onward, our level 5s. They haven't changed. I'm still running, of course, 4 of the Phantomons. I'm really looking forward to perhaps getting a BT23 Phantomon. Fingers crossed, maybe we'll get one. This is a great card, and I love having the Phantomon in the deck, especially at 4, because of course you have the execute at an earlier level, so you could swing this and not be afraid, and its on deletion effect then auto triggers by allowing you to play out a level 4 Ghost trait or lower Digimon. So the Phantomon works really well with this because you start playing out your Bakemons and being able to, as you'll see, go into Chimeramon, which can get pretty gross if you line things up correctly. I've had Necromon and Phantomon in the Inheritables. You basically swing with Execute on Necromon, and then you play out 2 level 4s. You get all your memory back because you have all of these beautiful little memory gains underneath. And then you just DNA into Chimera and do it again with another Execute from another Necromon. So it's pretty fun. But surprisingly, I still really enjoy the Metal Phantomon in the deck. I love having the blocker option. I love being able to go off of a Phantomon for 1 and basically build my Execute stack for Necromon to be as powerful as it is, and allowing that on deletion to de-digivolve one of my opponent's Digimon. It feels really nice when you're able to get it. But what I do like with this is I love playing this out and deleting either another Digimon of mine or even deleting itself to delete one of my opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. I find that Metal Phantomon is great to have. Even if I just have it at 2, I'm finding 2 is pretty good for me. I know a lot of people will bring it down to 1. I haven't quite figured out how to make 1 work, but I do love having these handy, not necessarily in my hand, but definitely I notice that in my gameplay, I tend to put them in the trash. So that is where mine sit, and then I pull them out and then cause a whole bunch of chaos. And the last thing for our level 5s is we are running, of course, 3 Chimeramon from BT8. This is where a lot of the good magic happens. You do get the DP effect from the Chimera, which is really nice because you'll usually have 2 colors underneath, being the white and the purple, and sometimes you'll have the Metal Phantomon under, which gives you a 3rd color, which is awesome as well. But it is really nice to have that level 4 option if you have 2 of them on the field, DNAing into Chimeramon, sliding under maybe another Phantomon or another memory gaining inheritable Digimon, and basically going into a second Execute stack and pulling back turn again. It is a great way to build up multiple stacks in 1 turn and kind of maximize your memory gain that way. So depending on your playstyle or depending on where you're at in the game, there are times where I put Metal Phantomon under, there are times where I put another Phantomon under, there are times when I just focus on my memory gain Digimon and I just shove as many memories as possible underneath so that all the inheritables trigger. So you have options there to kind of work with. Our level 6s, of course, also, I don't think I've changed since my last deck profile. I'm still running 4 of the Necromon. Without this, it is not quite a Necromon deck, right? Of course, having the on play when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. This is great because sometimes you do have to hard slam this. So you hard slam the Necromon, activate the delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level, or you can play out a level 5 or lower from your trash, you play out the Metal Phantomon, and then you can trigger either Metal Phantomon to delete it, and then delete a bunch of stuff and play out another body. There's a whole bunch of ways you can kind of loop this, and it's pretty fun once you have all of the Execute. And of course, Necromon has security +1. So you are usually getting 2 swings off of it, which is great. I'm running just 1 Anubis. This is a fantastic card to basically get things out of trash back onto your field. And of course, getting that when an effect plays one of your Digimon, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. And if it didn't delete, draw 1. Really helps you draw your cards into your hand as much as possible. And that is where we want them to be, either in our hand or in our trash, and just keep going. So I am running it. We can only run it at 1. I'd be impressed if someone was running it at 2 for some reason. But onto our level 7s, I'm running 1 Beelzemon Blast Mode Ace. This is really great for 2 reasons. Of course, being if you have a bunch of cards in your trash, you can essentially delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. But if you have 10 or more in your trash, you can delete any Digimon on the field. So if there's a level 7, you can actually delete it. But the other really big benefit of this card here is if for some reason your Necromon is not deleted and you are about to deck out, you can return 10 non-Digi-8 cards back to the bottom of your deck, to the top of your deck, my apologies, and essentially recover your deck loss. And of course, trash your opponent's top security card, which is pretty good. And then for Tamers, we are running the standard, of course. We are running 2 Memory Setter Violets, with, of course, these allowing you to trash a card in your hand that is either an option card, a ghost trait, or a 3 Musketeers trait, which we have a lot of ghost traits in here, and a lot of option cards, which you'll see in a minute. That will allow you to draw 1. So we love having that at 2, and the security of a memory setter is always nice, especially in this deck, when if you're at 3 and you pass it to 1, you can gain back even more. It's pretty fun. I am running 3 of the BT20 Violet Inboots. This is, of course, the one being if any of your Ghostmon are, or if any of your ghost trait Digimon are deleted, you can suspend it to Digivolve another Digimon from your hand for a reduced cost of 2. So you can actually reduce it by 2. I really like this Violet at 3. I think it's a good card to have, and especially when you're at the start of your turn, you gain 1 memory. The more memory you gain, the more broken this deck becomes. We are also, as the last part of our Tamers, we are running 3 of the EX1 Analog Youth. When a level 5 or higher Digimon with Digi-Evolution sources is deleted, you can suspend this Tamer to gain 1 memory and hatch in your hatching area. Analog Youth in this deck is fantastic because usually you're going to be going into your level 5 and you are going to be having inheritables, and you just get to suspend and gain 3 memory plus all of the memory from your other inheritables. It is a fantastic time to just kind of be like, all right, I gain a memory off Ghost, I gain a memory off Ghost, I gain a memory off Bakemon. Analog, 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 gain a memory. Oh, Violet, reduced cost, Digivolve. Oh, Violet, reduced cost, Digivolve. And you just keep building. It's a lot of fun. Option-wise, we're running 2 Purple Scramble. I do find that I tend to deck out in this deck if I'm drawing so much or, you know, evolving a lot and getting a lot of these bonuses here. So I am running 2. Also being able to play out one of my searchers again, or even my reduced Ghostmon, is a good option to have. And of course, evoing for reduced cost into another Digimon, being the Necromon, is amazing too, because it does cost 4, and this makes it cost, well, essentially 1 less. So it's pretty good. I really enjoy the Purple Scrambles in here, which is nice. I am running 2 of the Apparition. This is usually my end game, so if I know they have no security left, I will hard slam an Apparition, play out a Necromon and a Ghostmon, or even a Phantomon and a level 4 Bakemon, give it Rush, give it Blocker, and then execute for game. Having it at 2 is nice only because if you whiff on one of them, you still have a chance to get the other, which is why I am running it at 2. Speaking of our 1 card options, I am running a 1 Jack Raid, just again for a little bit extra memory, just in case. You can only run 1 in a deck now, and Jack Raid is really great, especially for a lot of purple decks. And last, as I had mentioned earlier in this video, I am running 3 of the Pummel Wax. This card works fantastic with so many different things in this deck. Bakemons draw 1, trash 1. You trash a Pummel Whack, you get a free draw, because when this card is trashed from your hand by an effect, you may draw 1. Or you can use its main phase, which is, or its main ability, which of course is delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So if you're in a pinch and you need to use its main effect, you can, or you can just trash it and draw an extra card and dig in your deck a little bit more. And with that, that essentially concludes my Necromon deck profile. So I hope you guys all enjoyed listening to this today. I'm so excited for what BT23 is going to bring, and I'm so curious as to what is going to come. If you enjoyed this deck profile, please like, please subscribe. I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you at the next deck profile. Bye!